ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, שהכל נהיה בדברו. We all do something wrong and we ask for forgiveness. We ask people that they should pardon us our iniquities. This is what we do on Yom Kippur especially. And God forgives us if we are sincere in our prayers, if we are sincere in our teshuvah, in our going back to our roots. I have argued already on another occasion with you, saying that how is that possible? Maybe God has to come a little closer to us and we a little closer to God because we are not perfect. God has to recognize He created us mortal and with certain desires, with certain weaknesses, and at times we fall prey to those weaknesses and we disobey the law. We disobey certain moral principles that should really be a part of our life. But I think that no matter how you argue it, to forgive, to erase an error that is committed is really impossible. You did something wrong. Well, that is done. How can you possibly ask for forgiveness? Well, this is something supernatural. God can forgive. He in His infinite wisdom somehow can erase something that we did that was wrong. And that is called kapara. I ask to be forgiven. That's where the idea of Yom Kippur, that comes from the same root. You know, it sort of erases, it obliterates our mistakes, our errors, and it's as if we didn't do them. But there is something else also. There's something called tahara, which means purification. The question is, what happens to the human being after he commits an error? After he sins, what happens to him? He obviously goes down a couple of steps, a couple of levels in morality. There's no question about it. Our rabbis already sentenced, Ki Adam ein tzadik ba'aretz asher ya'aseh tov velo yicheta. Man, even when you are very just, even if you do good, sometimes you err, sometimes you make a mistake. All of us are sinners in a certain way. The question is, what do we do with our sins? Do we become sinners and that becomes a part of our nature? Or do we use that moment in order to reflect, in order to become somebody else, somebody who is able to grow above of what we were before we committed the sin? You know, many a time in a family, there may be differences between husband and wife, with children, and you go through difficult times. But if you're able to resolve your differences and your problems, sometimes the family unit becomes stronger because of it. Because you have already gone into the negative part, and now you realize you should not go back that same path. In the future, you have to look for something altogether different. So that sinning, on the one hand, cannot be obliterated. Only God can do that. But its effect on a human being may be a purifying element, because you realize what is the wrong way to act, what is the wrong behavior in this world, and maybe through it, in the future, you become a much better human being with greater aspirations, with a tomorrow that looks much brighter than before you committed the error.